Hi everybody. Today is all about hair loss, the causes, and some real effective treatments for hair loss. And I have another big giveaway, so I'll let you guys start coming on. I also have the winner of last week's giveaway for the Prolon Fast. Hi everybody. Oh my gosh, it's almost Christmas. We're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. I have a big giveaway today. I have the IRESTORE. This is what a picture of it looks like. The IRESTORE Hair Laser Essentials. This is their original laser cap. So as you guys know, I've got the other ones. I've got the IRESTORE. This is the professional device. They just came out with the IRESTORE Elite. The one that they're giving away for free today, though, is the IRESTORE Essentials. This is $699. Giving it away for free. So for those of you who don't know what the rules are for the giveaway, and then I'm going to get to hair loss. I've got a whole thing on hair loss today. But if you don't know the rules for the giveaway, when I post it to my main feed, then you tag your 3 people and you comment and comment and comment, and then I will announce the winner. So last week, when I did the show on intermittent fasting, when I did that live, that prize was the Prolon 5-day fast mimicking diet, and the winner of that is, I'm going to see if I can see her on here. Let me scroll back and see if I can see the winner that joined. I don't see her, but the winner for, hi Germany, the winner for the Prolon 5-day fast mimicking nutrition system is Jessie.T. Thomas. Jessie.T. Thomas. You won the Prolon Fast Mimicking 5-day system, and I will be doing that sometime in January. So if you guys want more information on that, you can just DM me the word Prolon. But for today, we're talking about hair loss, okay? Tomorrow's live, I am gonna pop on for a little bit. I don't know if I have a full show, but I'm gonna be playing Santa Claus. Got a lot of stuff to give away for tomorrow, and I will be announcing the winner of Sunday's live, which was on younger looking hands, and I'll be giving away or announcing the winner for the collagen. If you don't use this is not my collagen, but if you don't use the best collagen in the world, just DM me collagen. I'll give you my favorites. But the winner that will be announced tomorrow is for the 2 different collagens, the Life and the Sport, along with the niacinamide, which lightens dark spots for the hands. And I think I also threw in a mushroom coffee and something else in there. And that'll be announced tomorrow. But today's winner for the Prolon Fast is Jessie.T. Thomas. So congratulations to Jessie. Up for grabs today is the IRESTORE Laser Hair Growth System, but their actual medical device. This is their essential. And let me tell you a little bit about that. It has 120 medical grade lasers and LEDs. So I'd have to look up how many the professional has. It's one step down from this, okay? But it's an amazing device, and it's $699. So it's, let's see, it has a 2-year warranty. You can get the battery pack separate. Hold on one second. I'm just trying to see if there was anything else that I could say about this. It's $699. It's designed to help you grow your hair back thicker and faster. And I'm going to get to the reason why this works. How does red light therapy work on hair growth? Okay. So first of all, let's just start with some of the basics on hair loss. Hair loss is so complicated, you guys, because there's multiple reasons for it. I am somebody who stress sheds. Is there any other stress shedders here? When I get stressed out, I lose my appetite and I lose my hair. Both things are not great for us. So is there anybody else out there that does that? Because when you start losing your hair, it can be terrifying and traumatic, right? Especially if you're a woman. Not that I'm just, discounting any emotional things that men go through when they lose their hair, but it's much more socially acceptable for a man to just shave their head and go the bald look than it is for a woman to do that. So it is traumatic. It is something that is super stressful, which compounds the hair loss by adding additional stress in there. Thinning hair, yes, honestly, there's so many different causes. So I want to just get over this. Stress, anxiety, depression, all of those equal to hair loss. Because in times of really high stress, if you guys ever noticed in times of really high stress, I'm losing hair at the moment and I'm traumatized. For craft's sake, I love that handle, by the way. For craft's sake, you are not alone. Age can cause hair loss. Hormonal fluctuations can cause hair loss. Diet, stress, lack of iron, lack of circulation, your testosterone being converted to DHT, which will block your. It's complicated, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. If you're going to treat your hair loss, you need to understand what is the cause of your hair loss. Yours. It's different for everybody. It took me a long time to figure out what worked and what didn't work for hair loss for me, because my issue is not DHT. It's not, clogging of the pores of the sebum that will cause hair loss and damage that way. Mine is a circulation issue. It took me a long time to figure out that, and red light therapy increases circulation, as well as some prescription medications like minoxidil that I'm going to go over. But let's just get back to this. By the age of 50, which I'm 55, 80% of all men and 50% of all women. So if you're over the age of 50, for craft's sake, 50% of women over the age of 50 will recognize hair loss to the point where it's noticeable. And that's already, by the time we notice it, we have lost a lot of hair. Let's just think about that, right? There's a lot of hair that gets lost for us to go like, I'm losing my hair. So from age 30, hair loss, that's when hair loss starts beginning, is age 30. But by age 50, it's the most noticeable. So at 55, I've been dealing with hair loss. I want to say, for the last 10 years. And mine revolves around, in times of super high stress, then in times of super high stress, I go into a resting phase and I shed. But there's a lot more involved. It's stress, it's genetics, it's nutrition, hormonal changes, hairstyles being too tight so you can have traction alopecia. But hair loss is so complicated. It has numerous causes, which is why it's so challenging. We can't just all use the same shampoo and all of a sudden our hair starts growing, right? We can't just all be on the same type of medication and that works for everybody, because there's so many different causes. Rosemary oil, any good? I'm going to get to that. There are some oils that you can put on your scalp, because when we're talking about hair loss, this is your scalp. This is your epidermis, the top layer of your skin. This is your dermis. Your hair is inside of your skin. That's why when you go to get treatment, if you're like thinking, gosh, I need to go to the doctor and get some medical help for my hair, you want to go to a dermatologist, because they're the person that studies the skin. The hair is inside of the skin. Okay, so let's just talk about the anatomy real quick of hair. I'm going to go fast through this because this part might be a little bit too much, but this is the hair shaft, right? It's the full hair shaft. Then we've got the root and we've got the hair bulb. So the bulb at the end, and then we've got the root. This is where stem cells, in this section down here, this is where stem cells, they populate, they give rise to each hair. So the stem cells divide and give rise to the daughter cells that stack up. These cells stack up and push the hair out. So the hair forms from here, not from the top. And it's just stacking of cells, and it pushes it out, okay? And melanocytes also live down here, and that's what give the hair the color, all right? So that's the anatomy of what goes on here. Then you'll see this little oil gland here. This is the sebaceous gland. When the hair shaft shoots out, the sebaceous glands coat the hair shaft in a microbial, so it won't get, a bunch of microbes on it, but it makes the hair to where it coats it and protects it, and also is microbial, so when it shoots out, that it's the healthiest that it can be. And that's with these type of sebaceous glands, okay? So that's basically the anatomy of it. Now we also have the erector pili muscle, and this muscle, you know when you get like nervous or you get goosebumps and your hair stands on end? That's this muscle right here. As you can see it, this is this muscle right here that contracts and stands your hair up on end, okay? And then we've got the little capillaries. You can see these capillaries that are giving blood supply to the hair shaft. So it's giving blood supply as the hair is growing. This is the part, this is super important because if you have low circulation, like I do, if you have low circulation, it's not great in terms of getting the nutrients. When you're giving yourself nutrients that are great for your hair, biotin or collagen, iron, those things that your hair, folate, those things that your hair needs, when you're doing that, if you don't have proper circulation, if you're not getting proper blood supply to those stem cells, to the hair shaft, if you're not getting proper blood supply, your hair is not going to be healthy, right? You're currently getting your hair done. I love that. So this is the basic anatomy of the hair. That's why you need to go to a dermatologist for help. Not your local doctor, it's a dermatologist that is the person who is the most trained to work with the hair. And this kind of shows you the different phases, okay? So let's just go over the different phases here. I'm gonna go over them really fast. The anagen phase, that's this phase right here, and that is where the hair growth, and it grows from the bottom up. This phase lasts 2 to 8 years. It differs with everybody. So the phase and the amount of years that this grows can determine how long your hair genetically can grow, and it can also be influenced by, of course, genetics, but also your lifestyle, right? So if you're somebody that can control your stress in times when your hair is in growth, if you can keep your stress low and you're not having some major trauma in your life, your hair grows between 2 to 8 years. And that's genetic, that's a predisposition of how long your hair can grow. Oh my God, Sarah, I love that the stylist is listening to me. So this is 2 to 8 years, this growth phase, right? And that's the anagen phase. Your eyebrows also grow, but they only grow 4 to 2 millimeters per month. And your hair can grow about 1 centimeter. So it's about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch per month. And again, that can be genetic. I have very slow growing hair. That is genetic. And also, what is also genetic is the number of years that each hair has a growth cycle. So how long is your hair in the first phase, which is the anagen phase? Anagen phase. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to the next phase, which is the catagen phase. And this is where you can see that the hair bulb kind of starts lifting up a little bit. You see how the hair bulb here starts lifting up? This is all normal. So this is where the hair recedes from the bulb. So the hair kind of recedes from this bulb. You see here how the bulb is down below, right? This is the anagen phase. Now we're in the next phase. The hair starts pushing up and receding from that bulb. That's the catagen phase. Next, we're going into the telogen phase, and this is where we rest. The stem cells are inactive here. So there's no stem cells that are working here. We're in a phase of resting. Sometimes in high stress, your body can take an anagen phase and for the majority of your hair, just decide, nope, I'm not gonna put any energy into making this hair. We're gonna go into the resting phase and then we're gonna shed, which sucks. But that is part of what happens. So now we're in this catagen phase. That's where where the hair bulb kind of retreats, and the telogen phase is when we're resting. There's no stem cells that are active. Those are inactive. New daughter cells are being provided, but we have to figure out. Your body figures out: do I kill this whole hair, or do I go back into an early anagen phase, which brings us back here? So this part, this is where we're shedding, right? This is where we are releasing that hair, and then we're back trying to figure out, our bodies are trying to figure out, are we going to produce that again? Are we going to produce that again? Okay, so those are the 3 phases. And your hair can regenerate. So if you guys have ever seen men that have been bald in some places and then all of a sudden they get on some Rogaine or they start doing red light therapy, you can, even if you have something that has happened where you're not producing hair for a while, it can regenerate. It can regenerate. There's been a lot of research on this with PRP, with red light therapy. You can actually, through your practices at home and in office and with help, take something that's already dead and possibly make it start growing again, right? It's just like when you have a house plant and you're like, this house plant is dead. You stick it outside, you change the environment, you add a little water, you do different things than when you thought, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, that plant didn't die. That can happen with your hair as well. That can happen with your hair as well. Okay, so there are some hair loss treatments to consider here. So then we're going to talk about the hair loss treatments now. I think we've understood, like, okay, what happens? Now let's talk about what the hell can we do about it? What can we do about it? Okay, hold on one second. Got to refuel. This is my mushroom coffee. Oh, you guys know what? I'm going to add this too. For those of you that won the mushroom coffee last time, please send me your mailing address. I think there were three or four winners last time. The only one I remember offhand was the eye candy. I think it was eye candy something. The reason why I remember that is because she also won the 1 hour one-on-one session with me. And if you guys think you're learning a lot in these kind of lives, wait till I get you one-on-one. We go through your skincare, we will microneedle in person, we will go through all of it. Okay, but I do have mushroom coffee to give away. So if you guys could invite some people, when I see that little thing go off, I'll say that you guys have won. All right, okay. Okay, so now we're gonna go through what are the treatments. So first of all, like I said, when you're talking about treatments, I want a mushroom coffee. Okay, you need to hit that little airplane right there and invite 3 people. And let's see who that was. Oh, it was for craft's sake. I won the mushroom coffee for craft's sake. Send me, for craft's sake. Oh my God, I love that. Send me your address, okay? Because I will send that to you. Might be after Christmas, but I'll send it to you. Okay, so we understand now the anatomy of what happens, the anatomy of the hair shaft. We understand now the phases that it goes through. We're all hoping to get back to this anagen phase to where we can keep regrowing. We're also hoping to extend the anagen phase, right? Because the more that we can extend this, the longer our hair can grow. We're wanting to reduce stress so that it doesn't all go into this resting phase at once, although this is genetic. And this is the normal thing that happens when we shed, but it's when we shed more than what we're actually growing, it becomes a problem, it becomes noticeable on our heads, right? So when we're talking about treatment, you gotta see your dermatologist because this is skin. The hair is inside the skin. So you gotta see your dermatologist for that. Next, make sure that your hormones are on point. I couldn't come up with another word for that. Make sure your hormones are on point because with fluctuations in your hormone, especially for my menopausal women out there, I'm 55, I am in it. I am in it. But for you menopausal women out there, anybody over the age of, because you start losing hair at 30, you notice it at 50, but you start losing hair at 30. So for my 30-year-olds out there, you're never too young to start thinking about how do I keep and maintain my hair? How do I make my scalp and my hair as healthy as I possibly can? Hey, Leisha. Okay, so now we're going into treatment. You came at the right time, Leisha, because we're talking about hair loss and we're talking about treatments right now. Go see your dermatologist because that's where the hair shaft is. Make sure your hormones are optimal. During menopause, like when we have fluctuations that start in our 30s, we have fluctuations of hormones. Hi, Leisha. We have fluctuations of hormones, and it's not just estrogen. If you have a dip in your estrogen, you think your hair is going to all fall out. That's not what happens. It's everything combined. When we go through menopause, when we go through perimenopause, which happens earlier than you think, if you are having hair loss and you are in your 30s, get your hormones checked. Get your hormones checked, because I guarantee you, you're having little dips, right? Again, it's not one treatment fits all. I want you guys to keep this in mind. Like everything that I talk about. You want to talk about your cardiovascular health. You can't just go running. It takes more things than that, right? When you want to talk about your bone health, you can't just drink calcium. There's so much more to that. Weight-bearing exercises, on and on and on. The same is true for your hair loss. You can't just take one pill and think it's going to be great. You can't just go and do red light therapy and think everything is going to be fine. It's multiple things that I have found have the biggest impact. Hormones are one of them, and it's not just estrogen. Testosterone, DHT, estrogen, thyroid hormone, insulin growth factor, all of these fluctuate. DHEA, all of them fluctuate, and all of them can have an effect of your hair. And not only that, but when we're talking about testosterone and testosterone's effect on the hair, women think like, oh, I don't have a lot of testosterone. We have more testosterone running around our bodies than we do estrogen. Throughout our life, we have more testosterone than we do estrogen. So think about that for a second. When we go through menopause, our testosterone dips as well, which is why it's hard to build muscle mass when you're going through menopause, because it literally, in your mid-30s, you start losing muscle mass, right? So all of these things are related to our hormones. Get your hormones checked, okay? But in addition to our testosterone dipping, the way that we store our testosterone changes with age. So testosterone is not bad for your hair. It's when testosterone gets converted to DHT. That's when the shit hits the fan, okay? So androgens such as testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, this is DHT. So when you see things like shampoos that are DHT blockers, that is dihydrotestosterone. We're just gonna call it DHT from now on, okay? DHT is made from testosterone, and it binds to the androgen receptors. We have androgen receptors in our scalp, right? And the location of those, this is interesting. We always thought like hair loss is based on the mother's side. That's not true, but the placement of the androgen receptors in the scalp is related genetically to your mother's side of the family, okay? So as you get older, more testosterone, it doesn't stay pure testosterone, it gets converted to DHT, and DHT inhibits the growth of the anagen phase. DHT, I'm gonna repeat that. DHT inhibits the growth of the anagen phase. So if the way that we convert testosterone changes with age, not only do we reduce the amount of testosterone, but it gets stored more likely as DHT as we get older. And when that happens, that shortens the anagen phase, which is the growth phase. So women, if you want to know why when we get older, our hair just simply cannot grow past a certain length, DHT, the storage of DHT might be the cause of that, okay? That might be the cause of that. So with age, naturally, our hair isn't going to be in that 2 to 8 years growth phase like it used to be. It could reduce, and in reducing, you're gonna end up with shorter hair, and you're gonna just be like, gosh, I can't get my hair a certain length, and I just have to keep cutting it, and that's why women have shorter hair. The hair texture changes, things change, but the anagen phase, as you age, shortens. So we want to use things that increase the growth phase, stop the DHT. So if we can block the DHT, we can get back to our normal growth stage. Does that make sense, everybody? Is everybody following? I hope you guys replay this, because this is a lot of information, but my thought process has always been in this channel If I can explain it in a way that you guys can ingest it and it's easier to understand than some mumbo jumbo doctor talk, but it's easier to understand. If I can do that, I'm 55. Diamond, who just asked that. Whoever, when we can understand what it is, what happens, and why we use certain products, right? This is a microneedling pen. Why we use certain treatments. If we understand what is happening, we're going to be a lot more likely to try different things, right? And to be consistent about them. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so we just talked about how testosterone dips, how even not only does it dip, but the way it gets stored as DHT increases with age. DHT shortens the anagen phase. So even with age, it's very difficult to have long hair with age, right? Because the anagen phase has been shortened. She's not, somebody said I'm transgender, or did they say they were transgender? Are you transgender because you're, okay, no, I'm not transgender, although I know beautiful, amazing transgender people. I live in West Hollywood. This bullshit, of course she's not transgender. I know, some people, it's just like, but I don't feel that that's an insult. And I think when we feel things like that are an insult, just like when somebody called me old last week, I'm 55. For some people, that is old. When you're 55, it's not going to feel old. But if you're a 20-year-old on here and you look at somebody and they say they're 55, you're going to be like, that's old. Because I wonder if I felt that way when I was younger. When I looked at people my age, I think like, gosh, that's really old. You get to be this age and you're like, that's not so old. I got a lot of things left to do. Okay, so we're still talking about hormones. So we talked about testosterone. We talked about converting to DHT. We talked about getting your hormone levels checked, right? All of those hormones that fluctuate, estrogen, testosterone, DHEA, growth hormone, all of those things need to be checked because they can all contribute to hair loss. Okay, so speaking about hormones, our thyroid is our master hormone gland, right? Our thyroid changes as we age. So if you are hyperthyroid, meaning you've got very dry skin and your hair is falling out and you feel palpitations in your chest, those are symptoms of hyperthyroidism. You could have rapid weight loss. This is hyperthyroidism. That can also cause your hair to fall. When you have hypothyroidism, meaning your hands and feet are cold, that's a symptom of that. You're always the coldest person in the room. You have hair loss, you have dry, itchy skin. Those are symptoms of hypothyroidism. Both can cause hair loss. So thank you for that about the eyes. So, so just make sure that when I say one of the ways to keep your hair loss in check is to get your hormones checked. We're also talking about a full thyroid panel. I mean, TSH, T3, free T3, T4, free T4, reverse T3, all of the, antibodies, all of those need to be tested to get a real, somebody just said I saw a trichology diagnosis. Yeah, people can, if you've got, I forgot what it's called. I thought it was trichologist, but it's a something. I should know this because I have a master's in psychology, but I forgot the name. But that's where you pull on your hair. It feels good to pull your hair. And there's a lot of things that go in with that. It's like a way that people fiddle, right? But they pull their hair, and that can cause, that traction of pulling can cause permanent hair loss. Just like wearing extensions can cause permanent hair loss in those areas because of the traction. Okay, what do you think about, I'm gonna have to look that up, but thank you for that. I'm gonna write this down. I do not know everything, but here's the thing. I love to learn. And so when I find something that I need to look up, that I want, I don't just talk out of my ass here, you guys. There is a lot of, thank you for that, Diane. Thank you for that, because I go into research, you guys. I'm not just pulling shit off of Google, okay? I'm going into the research of what actually works and what doesn't, and what are the causes, and what is it in a scientific way. Let me just make sure this is up. Yeah, that's up. Okay, so request that full thyroid panel. Okay, next, red light therapy. When you look at the anatomy, because we have to get back into like, sorry, maybe my voice is going up and down. That's probably still my cold from, not my cold, I had a flu. Let's just be real. I can't be in denial about that. My 10-day flu that ended up with a massive cough. So my voice does go up and down. But no, I'm not trans. Although I know beautiful people who are. Okay. Red light therapy. How would you think when you're looking at the anatomy of the hair, and when you look at what red light therapy actually does, red light therapy does a few different things, right? Let me see. It's not going to go on until I put this on my head, but this is what happens. Ooh. Let's see if I can get this to go on. This is a brand new device, so that's why the cord is so short. I haven't undone it yet. This is the professional one. They sent me a new one because they redid the logo. I love this device. They also have, this is a step above and beyond. This is the Elite, and I haven't started using this yet, but it's stronger, even more lasers and LEDs than the professional. So the one that we're giving away for free is the IRESTORE Essentials. And that, like I said, has 120 medical grade lasers and LEDs. So let's talk about the concept of what, sorry, my hair is going to be a little bit crazy. What red light therapy does. Okay, so red light therapy increases circulation. It does a lot of other things, and I talk about red light therapy a lot. But the main thing that it does when we're talking about hair loss is that it increases circulation. So when you look back at the anatomy of the hair, you see all of these little blood vessels, the little capillaries. That's so important to bring nutrients. If you don't have blood flow here, anything that you're taking, any oral medication that you're taking for hair loss is not going to make it to the place where you need it. It's not going to make it there if you've got poor circulation. So yes, of course, things like working out help, getting your heart rate up, taking freezing cold showers, yes, because that does increase your circulation, and red light therapy. So red light therapy increases circulation, and what that does is by increasing the amount of nutrients, whether it's the hair vitamins that they have out now, Nutrifull. I stopped taking Nutrifull, but I do take collagen for my hair. I'm on a lot of different stuff, which I'll go over. But red light therapy increases the circulation to the scalp. So we're talking about, a type of treatment that not everybody is going to, I'm just going to be honest, not 100% of people are going to see a difference if this is not your problem. If you've got amazing circulation, if you're doing downward facing dogs all day in yoga and you're constantly putting your head down, you're getting a lot of circulation, you're hanging upside down, whatever it is that you're doing, massaging, you're getting a lot of circulation to your scalp, then the red light therapy might not make a giant difference in what you're seeing. But if you're like me and you're not having, first of all, no matter what, red light therapy is going to be better for your skin in general, right? And your hair lies in your skin. But in terms of massive hair growth, circulation, if circulation is your problem, you're going to find massive hair growth when you're increasing your circulation. Does that make sense, everybody? If you're converting testosterone, like we talked about earlier, into too much DHT, you're going to find that when you do DHT blockers, like shampoos that have DHT blockers in them, you're going to find that that's going to create massive hair growth for you, right? You've got to get to the root, that's a good question, Sarah. I'm going to get to that in a second. You got to get to the root problem before you can see what the result's going to be. And sometimes that's multiple things. And I always love hitting it with multiple types of treatments. But for me, trying to be all scientific and stuff and really get to like the root cause of mine, I've isolated everything. I know what my root cause is. Mine is circulation, which is why this machine works fantastic on me. I also have, because I do have some thyroid issues, I also have a low iron sometimes, so I have to take an iron pill. So there's certain things that you can learn about your own hair loss, but in general, red light therapy is going to increase the circulation, which is going to waken up it's going to give all those nutrients to those stem cells that are producing the hair, right? That are acting and producing the hair. So red light therapy is super, super effective in that, which is why they have all these amazing, not helmets, the medical devices. This is a medical device. And I'm giving one of those away for free. So make sure when you get off of here that you tag your 3 people and comment, because we are giving away the essentials. IRESTORE is giving away the essentials. And this is $699. So this is a big one. This is a big giveaway. All right, let's go back where we just went through red light therapy. It increases the blood flow. Yeah, and so let's get to microneedling. I have in my notes, I said, if you can't afford one of these helmets, because everybody has various, socioeconomic stuff that they have, various bills, various amounts that they want to invest in these kind of things. But if you've got a red light therapy mask, when I travel, I'll put a red light therapy mask on my head. It's still going to work, right? If you have a red light therapy mat, like I have on my Amazon stores, or the red light therapy full panel, all of those work for hair growth, right? But this takes it to a different level because it has the combination of lasers and LEDs. So this is taking that circulation and that stimulation of those stem cells to a whole different level. Okay, let's see. So next I'm going to talk about microneedling. So microneedling has been proven to be beneficial for hair growth. And my suggestion, I have a microneedling pen that I do it at home, or a stamper that I do it at home. This is on my Amazon store. You can always just DM me the word microneedling, but it's going to give you, if you DM me the word microneedling, it's going to give you my entire, microneedling protocol that shows you all the different links to different body parts. But I love this because it's adjustable. So you can dial this up or down and you stamp right in the scalp. And if I do this and I stamp, I feel like it saves my actual hair a little bit better than when I'm doing like a microneedling pen, right? But so you don't want to do any swirling techniques like I do with my face with a microneedling pen. You want to literally stamp straight down. And in doing that, remember when we're doing microneedling that we're creating microtraumas, and that is calling on the stem cells in there, really, that it's calling on all of this to continue to like, hey, wait a second, I'm still supposed to be working here, right? Instead of dying, it's like, I'm still supposed to be working. Let me stimulate that area to come to the rescue and to increase production there. And that's what happens when you microneedle. And the same thing is true when you do like a PRP microneedling treatment. So a lot of times if you go in office, they'll drain your blood, they'll spin it in a centrifuge, they'll separate the platelet-rich plasma, and they even do it better now than they did years ago. I'm sure they're doing something else. They're taking up the best part of the platelet-rich plasma, and then they're microneedling with a device, or they're stamping it in an office and then injecting it into the scalp. Okay, so when we think about that, when we're talking about microneedling, what it's doing is it's causing the stimulation of the production of the keratin, right? Is causing that stimulation. Hey, stem cells, wake up. We got work to do. And so that will also help to get this back from the telogen phase back into the early anagen phase so it can grow again, okay? So this helps to wake this up, the microneedling. Okay, and then listen, if you're gonna wake up the area and you're increasing the circulation, you're waking up the area, you're waking up the stem cells to have stuff in your system like and Sarah, I'm going to get to that, why I stopped taking, what was it called? Nutrafol, why I stopped taking it. But you need all of the nutrients, right, to be able to get there. So it's one thing if you like increase the circulation, right? It's another if you're like stamping your head and you're waking up those cells that create the hair shaft to begin with. But if you don't have the right nutrition, if you're lacking in iron, if you're lacking in biotin, if you're lacking in folate, you're not going to be able to have the healthiest hair that you're able to have, because you're just literally bringing in blood that's not rich in nutrients that are great for the hair. Now, I've used Nutrafol for a long time. I used it for years. I didn't see any difference with me whatsoever. And the reason is because my problem isn't the nutrients, right? I'm a holistic nutrition and health coach. My nutrients are pretty spot on. The problem with me is the circulation. So if I already have a diet that is spot on and I already have adequate amounts of collagen, I have adequate amounts of biotin, I have adequate amounts of iron, I could do all of that and still not have hair growth because I don't have the circulation that's bringing it there. Does that make sense, everybody? I could be doing all of that. I could be taking these pills every single day for hair growth. I'm already getting that with my own vitamin line. I'm already getting stuff that's great I'm already getting folate and iron, and I'm getting all of the stuff that I need to grow hair through my own nutrition line. And so for me, it was like, why am I taking this extra vitamin? That's not my problem. My problem isn't that I'm lacking vitamins. My problem is that I'm 55. Genetically, I don't have a long growth phase. So the 2 to 8 years for most people is probably much shorter for me genetically. I stress shed, and I have poor circulation in my scalp and in my fingertips because I have a little bit of Raynaud's. It's been my way my whole life. So to get to the root cause, and Sarah, this answers the question, to get to the root cause of why you particularly are losing your hair is the key to all of it, is the key to being able to stop it, right? Because I could have taken hair vitamins for years and years and years, which I did, but I could still be taking those. And it's not going to do anything to me but give me more stuff in my blood, which is overkill, which I already have anyways. But the nutrients weren't getting to where they needed to get to. Does that make sense? So that's why I stopped. It's overkill for me because my diet's already amazing. I mean, not always, because I do like my pies and my cakes and stuff like that. But I know that I've got nutrient-dense foods and a really amazing bioavailable multi that I take, and a hair, skin, and nails, that it's my own line. So I know that in terms of nutrition, I got that part covered. So that's why I stopped taking it. I have nothing against Nutrafol. It was just a waste of money for me because that wasn't my issue. Okay, so hydrolyzed collagen. If you guys are not on a collagen supplement, just DM me the word collagen. I'll give you my list that I love. I really love this one. I do the skin, but I also do the Life, which has added resveratrol, and I do the Sport, which has muscle recovery for after I work out. So I have those 3 in my refrigerator at all times. Okay, but here's the one thing that I would suggest. If you don't know, somebody said, not afraid of 50 said, I do the same thing with a great diet, Durnell thyroid and stress shed. Light does help me. Great. Amazing. Yeah, I stress shed and my nutrients are great, but I stress shed and I have circulation. So those are my things. Find out what your thing is, because the loss of hair, you got to be a really strong, emotionally strong person to be losing hair and be okay, right? Because it is so stressful, which compounds it. But there are solutions out there. We're going to keep going. So I always suggest, when I have a client who says, but by the way, if you guys want to do a one-on-one consult with me, I'm booked up through, and I think till mid-January, but you can just DM me the word consult. That will get you to my Calendly link, okay? So what I was saying is when I work with clients one-on-one, and they're experiencing hair loss, immediately I put them on a prenatal vitamin. The only reason is because I think it's the quickest way to cover all nutritional bases for hair health. It has biotin, it has iron, it has folate, all important. And until you get it figured out, get on a prenatal vitamin. That's my thought. And then you can start really kind of adding red light, see if it's a circulation problem, right? Get your hormones checked, make sure that your hormones are stable, get your thyroid, full thyroid panel, start microneedling, make sure that you've got all of your stuff. But honestly, if you're like, my diet's not great, I don't know if it's a nutrition thing, get on a prenatal vitamin and then figure the rest. Then you can figure the rest out after that, right? That's the easiest thing. And iron is necessary for hair growth. But too much is toxic and too little is ineffective. So you want around 25 milligrams to 100 milligrams of iron. But add iron to your test when you're doing your blood work for your hormones. Add an iron test in there. Add an iron test in there because you need iron to grow hair. So mine is, if you have any sort of thyroid issues, you guys, thyroid issues will affect the way that your body can absorb iron. So even though you're taking an iron supplement, if you have thyroid issues, you might not be absorbing that iron like you normally would, that would be helping with the hair loss. So yeah, I've been wearing extensions for years. And so that was a little bit of my problem too, because I have a little traction, but all of that has grown, all of my traction stuff has grown back. My traction hair loss has grown back. And so a lot of that has to do with, to be honest with you, the red light therapy device that I use. I use this every other day. I'm going to start changing to the Elite, which I would be using every day, but for me, it's that circulation. It's the circulation and the iron absorption that's difficult for me. So I kind of have over the years figured out my own root cause, no pun intended, but the root cause of my hair loss, and you got to figure out the root cause. If you can get to that, then you're going to be much better off treating it. And honestly, multiple things that you do. Get your hormones checked. Start doing a little microneedling stamping. This is on my Amazon store. So you would just find this in my linked tree. And then when you click on that, you'll see the Amazon icon. You can click on that. And this is on my Amazon. This is less than $20, you guys. I really, really try to give people options on multiple different, budgets. The next thing that we could talk about is the shampoos. So when you're looking at the anatomy of the hair, when you're looking at the anatomy of the hair, when you see this sebum, so this is a sebaceous gland. This is what helps to, as the hair shaft goes out, it coats the whole hair shaft with this sebum that protects it and is an antifungal. But there's a lot of things that can happen in here. So an antifungal shampoo like a Ketoconozol. God, it's a lot in your mouth. Ketoconozol shampoo, which is an antifungal shampoo, it reinforces the role of the sebum here. So it disrupts some of that fungal growth because that can cause hair loss as well. But you want to leave on those kind of shampoos, those Ketoconozol shampoos. You want one that's at least 2% at least, and you want to leave it on your hair for 3 to 5 minutes before you wash it off. And then that helps with the sebum production there. But for me, again, you don't want to rush out and go get these shampoos and think that that's the reason of your hair loss. Because for me, when I started using those shampoos, those Ketoconazol shampoos, and leaving it on for 3 to 5 minutes, my scalp was great. My hair broke off. So it's really harsh on some people's hairs. I would only really suggest those kind of shampoos for men, because men have short hair anyways. By the time that it gets to a certain length, if it's dried out from these kind of shampoos in trying to make the sebum less and to really talk about the health of the scalp, they already can cut their hair off, right? But for a woman who wants longer hair, the hair turns to straw with those kind of shampoos. So don't just rush out and grab something and thinking that this is going to be the thing that changes your hair. It's multiple different types of treatments, okay? So they also have biotin shampoos. I don't know how much of that gets into your system, although they are saying that the scalp absorbs a lot more into our bloodstream than what we thought it was, which is why I'm going to now talk about minoxidil and some of the topical stuff that has been here for a long time, right? Did you guys have ever heard of Rogaine? You can find it now in Costco, I think. Like, it's all over the place. And that was that topical stuff that you would put on your hair, on your scalp, and you'd rub it around. They had it in a mousse. They had it in drops. Trust me, tried about everything out there. So that's really hard for a woman to use that, because then you're having to wash your hair more and it gets a little gummy and all of that stuff. But what they have found is, yes, that does end up entering the bloodstream a little bit, which is not bad for you. Actually, it's a vasodilator, actually helps lower your blood pressure. But this is next level. This is minoxidil oral medication, and I am on a 2.5 milligram. It says 1 tablet daily. They gave me the wrong one, but I take 2 of these. I take 1 in the morning and 1 at night. This is minoxidil oral. It's a 2.5 milligram, like I said. You can get this from your dermatologist. Somebody's for craft size, I was advised to get special shampoo and treatments and also some serums. Yes. It depends on what the cause is, okay? It depends on what the cause of your hair loss is, because you could be putting serums on your hair every day, and you're not going to get enough. If your hair loss is due to circulation, you're not going to get enough of an oral minoxidil or a minoxidil into your bloodstream that's going to help with circulation. Does that make sense? An oral minoxidil, this is $10. Yes, it makes more body hair. Somebody just asked. It makes more hair everywhere. So your eyelashes will grow. Your eyebrows will grow. If you're a man and you've got back hair, be prepared. If you're a woman and you've had laser hair removal, be prepared for it to start growing back a little bit, because it's not just, doesn't just target the hair here, but it does freaking work. So this minoxidil oral is a vasodilator, meaning the little capillaries that we have here, the blood flow that we have here, a vasodilator opens those up, right? Vasoconstrictor, it squishes that, which causes high blood pressure, right? So a vasoconstrictor would cause high blood pressure. A vasodilator opens up those blood vessels, those capillaries, opens it up, gets more of the blood flow there. It's a vasodilator. Guess what the side effect is? Slightly lowered blood pressure. That's it. If you're in midlife, you probably could use a little lower blood pressure, right? You have to go in like every month just to get in the beginning, I had to go in every month and get my blood pressure checked just to make sure it didn't go too low, because I do have, for the most part, I'm super healthy and my blood pressure is really stable and good. So for those of you who don't suffer from a little bit of high blood pressure, you might have to go in and get tested to make sure your blood pressure doesn't go too low. But it opens up this little pill opens up those blood vessels and increases circulation. In addition, it also helps to extend the anagen phase. So a topical minoxidil will do the same thing. It helps to extend the anagen phase. It will, if it seeps into your bloodstream, help to be a vasodilator and increase blood circulation. It's not even close to taking it orally, though. It's not even close to taking it orally. So when you take it orally, you open up the blood vessels, then all of the nutrients that you're wanting to put in there get in there, right? And then the red light therapy also helps to open up those blood vessels. That's if your root cause is lack of circulation. Regardless, if your root cause isn't lack of circulation, but you're increasing the circulation to the area, you're still going to have growth. You're still going to have growth because it will extend the growth side. That's a great question. Yes, you can get this 2 ways. And this is the reason why I wanted to redo this live. I wanted to do this live. I'm always going to come on here, you guys, and tell you if I've learned something new. I did a live before on hair loss. I couldn't post it in one chunk, but I posted it in a 5-part series. And this hopefully will post in one chunk. So you get this minoxidil, and there's also finasteride. So finasteride works in a different way. This is on a DHT. This is a DHT blocker, and a minoxidil is a vasodilator. It helps extend the anagen phase and also increases circulation. You could only get this from a prescription. You can now get it from a company called HERS, HERS. I wish I would have printed out what it looks like. But they are doing a combination, and I have no affiliation with this. I make 0 money off of this. I just found out about it. So I thought I would share it with you. For those of you who do not have a dermatologist or don't have health insurance and don't want to spend the money to go to a dermatologist to get checked to even get this prescription, HERS, HERS, is a new company that is sending minoxidil mixed with biotin and a couple of other things that are great for hair health in the mail to you. You don't have to go in and get a prescription. They'll do it online with you. HERS. Again, no affiliation, but because it's a very safe medication, they are doing this now. Just like Retin-A and retinoids, you can now get that prescription, which I talked about in my retinoids live. You cannot now get prescription Retin-A in the mail. You can now get prescription hair loss medication in the mail. 2 different ones that I think work great. Minoxidil, like I said, increases the anagen phase, the growth phase, and also is a vasodilator, increasing circulation. Finasteride is DHT blocker. I believe that finasteride is a DHT blocker, but this is also, it's called Propecia. So a lot of men have been on this, and men, it affects your prostate, and women, it has no effect on anything. It's safe to take for women, so you could take a combination, which I do. So I take a combination, and I stamp my head, and I use the IRESTORE red light therapy medical device, and I take collagen, and I do inversions. So like I said, multiple treatments work best. And if you look at my hair, listen, I've been dealing with this for a long time. I purposely didn't I've got so much new hair growth from this combination that I'm now doing. That's all new hair growth. And for some reason, I don't have any gray hair. I don't know why that is. I can't think of why that is, because your melanocytes live in this area too. And normally with age, now watch, I'm gonna say that, and tomorrow I'm gonna have like 3 gray hairs. I don't have any wood to knock on, but I don't care if I have 3 gray hairs. But the melanocytes also live down here, which give color to the hair that lifts up. Okay. So in terms of this was a DHT. In terms of the Propecia, also known as finasteride, it reduces DHT. So it can increase hair loss by 20% in 90% of people. Think about this. This could decrease, so it increases your hair growth by 20% in 90% of people. 90% of people. This was oral minoxidil. Somebody said, what was the other pill? Oral minoxidil, also available through a company called HERS, HERS. You'll have to look that up. They send it to you in the mail. This is finasteride, also known as Propecia, and this is a DHT blocker. So this, almost everybody sees results with the minoxidil oral, and 90% of people see a 20% increase with the Propecia here, and the increase in the hair thickness as well. Okay, let's see, what else? Yeah, which brings me to the in-office treatments, really. Wait, do you find it causes more hair growth on the face? I have a patient who, yes, it does. So I do like a little, listen, this is something like these little things that you shave it's great for exfoliating dead skin cells. I've got a ton of these here. Yeah, it does increase like facial fur. Also eyelash growth. I don't wear false eyelashes. These are just my eyelashes. I do use a little bit of an eyelash serum, Latisse. I'll use a little bit of Latisse, but I've been doing that for years. But this medication, the minoxidil, boom, all of a sudden, thicker eyebrows, thicker eyelashes, thicker hair, new hair growth. But when you're going into, for in-office treatments, and I did touch on this a little bit, when you're doing in-office treatments, there's a lot of things that they're doing now in terms of the PRP kind of stuff that they're doing, and they're showing a lot of great results in women with PRP treatments. So they microneedle your scalp, they'll draw blood, they'll spin it, like I said earlier, and they'll inject the platelet-rich plasma into your scalp. And that, again, if you think about it, if you're injecting really high nutrient-dense platelet-rich plasma into this area, could your problem be circulation? Could your problem be nutrition? Yes, could be. Hit it in all the different ways, okay? So the microneedling, this is also in office you can do, or you can do it at home. Like I said, it wakes up the stem cells. So you've got stem cells that are living down here. The stem cells are the thing that are stacking that keratin and making that hair shaft shoot out, right? So when you're microneedling, what you're doing is you're waking up those stem cells to come to the rescue and say, hey, I'm not done here. We're not done. Let's go back over here. We're not done. See how this whole thing kind of disconnects? That's still this little root, that's still the little bulb down here that's going to shoot it out. Okay? So microneedling wakes up those stem cells and reminds them that they have a job to do. Don't be lazy, right? It also is controlled inflammation. We talk about it a lot. Controlled trauma is good for us, right? It wakes up your cells to come to the rescue. When you're doing this, it's controlled inflammation, waking up that whole system, okay? Let's see. Oh, I know somebody's gonna ask me this, how deep do you go? In terms of the research, there's 1 millimeter. The research shows that they're doing the research on, doesn't mean that it won't work on other depths, but when you look at the literature and you see like what's actually working, what they're testing it on is between a 1 millimeter and a 2.5. So this goes all the way up to a 3. So a 2.5, that's the depth. That's gonna hurt a little bit, okay? But there's results as well from a 1 millimeter. So I do a 1 millimeter. That's a 1 millimeter, and I stamp it right in my hairline. And you could hear the crunch, crunch. But all of that is good. All of that is creating hair growth. Okay, let's see what else. PRP, I already did that. Ultrasound treatments. Listen, go to your dermatologist. Remember that your hair is laying in your skin. Your dermatologist is the one that's gonna have all the treatments for you. But they're doing ultrasound treatments and lasers on the hair. There's hair transplants. The way that they're doing hair transplants these days, you can hardly see where they used to call them plugs. They're doing them in a much better way now. So it's not your old hair transplants. And then you can also, if your skin, this is very, very interesting. And I'm going to do this, I think, after the new year. I used to have PRP injections in my hair, but I have figured out that in taking the medication and in doing the laser hair devices like this, that increase circulation, I don't need to go back in for PRP treatments. But what I found was that my scalp, when they did do the injections, is so tender. And that has to do with a lack of, if you think about it, the lack of movement and circulation and blood flow to the scalp. Okay, so what they have now been doing is they'll do little mini Botox injections throughout the scalp, which will release that tension, which will create more blood flow. So because I'm somebody that I know my issue is blood flow, doing things like red light therapy, which increases blood flow, doing things like microneedling to wake up the stem cells, doing things like the minoxidil, which increases not only the blood flow, but the anagen phase, the growth phase. Doing those kind of things is right for me. So if doing Botox injections releases the tension of the fascia, it can create more room for blood flow. Does it not seem, if that's your issue, that that is also a treatment that could be added, right? Talking blood flow, there's a lot of different treatments that could be added. You want to not just stop at one, incorporate all of them. That's how you're going to get the best results, okay? And then there's other treatments. There's herbal treatments like saw palmetto berry. You can do this. It's not a magic pill, but everything kind of helps. And they recommend like 200 to 500 milligrams a day. So I think like around 300 milligrams a day is pretty, pretty safe area for the saw palmetto berry. And then turmeric also is an inhibitor of DHT. So it's so cool. Yeah. So it can slightly, if you're one of those people that are like, I'm only doing the natural route, I'm not going to be put on. Okay. So you can try the saw palmetto berry, the saw palmetto berry. My tongue is my twister. And you can also do the curcumin, which is the turmeric, which is an inhibitor of DHT. All of a sudden, like my mouth isn't working anymore. Hold on. Sorry, sometimes I'm just a big dork. And I should get off of here, to be honest with you, but I'm going to finish this really quickly. Also, when you're looking at other things that affect the DHT pathways, new topical stuff is coming out that has caffeine. So if you think about that, caffeine is gonna inhibit some of that, but it's also going to add to like circulation. So when you're looking at, topical things, which I think for women are a lot more difficult to use than it is for a man, but you'll start seeing caffeine in some of the concoctions that they're putting on the scalp. Okay, and then growth hormone. So this is interesting when you see that everything is so connected with your health, right? So even sleeping, when you go to sleep, your growth hormones get stimulated the first thing when you fall asleep. So when you have disrupted sleep, it's going to affect your hair. When you have stress, it's going to affect your hair. Like everything is just so interconnected. Okay, and then control your insulin resistance, and that's just like, we need to reduce our blood sugar, because if we're constantly have like really high blood sugars, you're also going to have hair loss. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I hope that this was very helpful, you guys. When I post this to my main feed, which I'm going to do in the next 5 or 10 minutes, tag your 3 people. You'll be in the drawing for the IRESTORE Essential. This is an amazing device. Like I said, I've been using this device for, I want to say 10 years, maybe. It's been a while. I've been using this device for a while, and I have more hair growth now than I have when I was in my 30s. Yeah, so I'm telling you, the shit works. It works. It works. Okay, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow at 11. I'm just going to pop on here, be Santa Claus, give a whole bunch of stuff away. If I have a lecture tomorrow, I'll give a lecture. It'll probably be on sleep or on stress or something like that. I really tried to get a grief counselor on. I'm still going back and forth, and I don't know if that's going to happen until after the new year or sometime after Christmas. But I am giving away a sleep pillow tomorrow. I am giving away my favorite chest patch if you're a side sleeper. I got a lot of good stuff still to give away. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. And congratulations to Jesse T. Thomas, who won the Prolon 5-day fast mimicking diet. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions, and I'm jumping off here. What is the other medication other than minoxidil? How would you get it? How do you spell it? Finasteride. Finasteride. Finasteride is the other one that works on the DHT pathway. So, and then the other one is minoxidil, which you can now get from HERS, H-E-R-S, in the mail. Okay, that's it, you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll have the winner of the 2 collagens, and that was like a package, right? 2 collagens and niacinamide cream and some mushroom coffee, and I don't remember what else I threw in there. I already boxed it up, but I'll have that winner for you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys then.